Hi there, thank you so much for joining me here today. In today's video, I want to talk about what's happening in the corporate world in terms of companies, in many cases, requesting or asking, making employees return to the office 100% of the time now that things have opened up more. And often these employees have either worked in a 100% remote situation the last couple of years or a hybrid model. Now, there are many people who are struggling with this. I am hearing this, I am seeing this: stress, exhaustion, overwhelm, all kinds of different emotions are showing up. And I want to have this conversation. I actually believe this conversation, as a collective, is long overdue in terms of the systems that we have in place right now. And this is obviously one in particular. And it really has to do with people's well-being. And not only that, it has to do with their productivity and the success of business and companies moving forward. In times of challenges like we've had in the last couple of years, they really are opportunities to reassess, right? And many of you I know have been doing that, assessing what's working and what's not working. And I don't believe that once we've gone through these situations, and we're still in it, right, that we're just supposed to go back to the way the life was before. I mean, any of you have gone through any personal trauma in your life, life is not the same afterwards. And to just pretend it is, well, I personally think it's quite short-sighted, and I think it's really missing the blessings. And so that's what many of you are experiencing. You're like, I've changed. I see things differently now. I don't want to do what I did before. I'm seeing, and I'm hearing from people sharing that they are realizing they were just coping before. They were just kind of getting by with a level of stress, exhaustion, but they were so used to it that it became normalized. And we've had a long enough period now of a complete switch in how we function to realize that that's maybe not a normal we want to go back to. We want something different. So it really is an opportunity for us to continue this conversation, and I truly hope we do continue this. There's 3 points I really want to discuss in this video, and my hope is when you're watching it, perhaps you're one of these people that is thinking to yourself, I can't do this. Or you're just really struggling with the fact that you are now having to go back to the office. Or maybe you're a leader who has people who on your team who are bringing this up as a concern to you, and like, how do I deal with this, and what's really going on at a deeper level? And so I'm hoping you can glean something from this video, from whichever perspective and whichever vantage point you are coming from, as well as really the third place, people who are in true resistance to this. And I'm hearing this and seeing this as well. People who are going, just suck it up, deal with it, just go back to work, be grateful you have a job, that kind of mentality, which is really, it's an opportunity to evolve and grow, right? So the first thing I want to really talk about is, if you are one of these people who is thinking to yourself, I can't do this anymore, I can't go into an office 100% of the time, many of you realize that your job isn't everything. And I think that's one of the blessings of the last couple years. We have been, I'm going to use the words, they're strong words, but I don't actually ever know any other words to use. We have been conditioned and programmed to believe that our job is everything. And I acknowledge that we all need to make money. I understand that. But in that, case of we need to make money, there's levels in the spectrum of how much we are supposed to, how much we need to, how much is reasonable to sacrifice to make that money. And many of you are coming to the conclusion that the price is too high. Being away from your family, maybe sitting in a car for 3 hours a day, sitting on a train, being around people constantly that are draining your energy, you're realizing that the price you're paying just feels too high. And that very much likely is an awareness from, like I said, the last couple years of being removed from that situation. You know, I saw somebody who posted on, it was on LinkedIn, a comment about this low-lying, realizing she was in this like low-lying state of stress all the time that she wasn't even aware of because she was so used to it for so many years. And so just to acknowledge, you know, this is where you're at. It's okay. It's healthy right now to be questioning, where do I want to put all my time and energy? And is the price too high for my life, right? Now, the second point I want to talk about is this notion that companies are saying they want you to come back because it's good for business. And I'm going to be completely honest. I am completely honest here that is very short-sighted. It is. That is making a huge, huge assumption that what is good for people is not good for business. I'm going to say that again because it's super important. It's making an assumption that what is good for people is not good for business. We can see by the number of people leaving their jobs, sometimes with nothing to go to, that what we're doing is not working. We've got this top-down structure in most companies that doesn't support the individual human. And it's not working. So do we change the people or do we look at the system? I'm going to say we look at the system. If people are happy, if they feel valued, guess what? The business does better. It's just that simple. And there are those of you out there, 100%, who aren't as productive in an office 5 days a week. It's just the way it is. You know, every person I talk to, every client that I have, well, there's a number of things in common, but 100% of the time, they want to do a good job. They're unhappy in their jobs right now or their careers, but they actually want to do a good job. And so for those of you who are in this position, and, you know, I'm seeing it where others are saying, well, you know, just suck it up, you know, be grateful you have a job. We're forgetting this notion that this person likely, if it's you, wants to do a good job. You're not asking to have it easy. You're asking to have the option to work in a way that is actually most productive for you. People who are exhausted from 3 hours of driving a day are not productive, or as productive as they could be. Let's put it that way. I remember when I used to have to go to the office all the time. I get to work and I'd be exhausted. Like my most productive time of the day is probably 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. That's it. Like that's my most creative. I am in the zone, and I would be spending it in traffic. Does this make sense? And you may be in that same situation where you're thinking to yourself, I'm not even able to show up in the way that I want to show up, because I'm being sort of forced and made to fit into this mold that doesn't work for me. Happy people make successful businesses, bottom line. And there's something I know I've mentioned in other videos, and it's really worth repeating here. I'm not saying for a second that companies just need to, you know, say, well, whatever you want, it's all good, you know, take whatever you want, do whatever you want. That's not what I'm saying at all. We are really in a polarized society now more than ever, where it's like this. It's either you know, right or wrong, left or right, you're good or you're bad. Like it's this really polarized one or the other. There's a big difference, and there's a lot of room to negotiate and have conversations between you must come in 100% of the time, you know, companies saying that, and employees saying, well, I want everything that I want. There's lots of room in here. This is not a black and white issue. It's really more a conversation about how can we adjust some of the systems, some of the things we have in place to better support people, right? We're all people. It's the one thing we all have in common. I mean, don't we all want and deserve to be happy and feel supported? I think we do. And it's time we start creating systems. And I think, like I said many times, just start having the conversation. It's an important piece just to be open and not shut down. As human beings, we are constantly evolving, right? To think that what we did 20 or 30 years ago is going to work now, so much has changed. We can't go back to the way we were. And that's, that's okay. That can be a good thing, right? So the third thing I want to talk about is really the way we've done society in terms of picking our careers and our jobs is we pick a career, we pick a job, and then we mold our life around that job or career. And I've been saying this for years, and I will continue saying this. It's the wrong way. We've got it backwards. We need to be looking at what kind of life we want. What kind of lifestyle do we want? And then from that place, along with other factors, of course, consider what it is we want to do. This is one of the things I work with my clients in my Pathway to Purpose program. There are many of you who are really struggling with the logistical aspects of your job. You could be sitting at a computer entering data for 8 hours a day. All of a sudden your job has changed. That's happened a lot, right? We've got so much technology. And many of you are finding all you're doing is become data processors when you're in a leadership position, or you're having to travel all the time. When in the last couple of years, you've realized, I don't want to travel anymore so much. I want to be home at night to spend with my family. We have it backwards. So if you're in a position where you're not happy in your job, in your career, look at those logistical aspects. Maybe they're not working for you. We see this often happen when somebody is working in a company and they all of a sudden shift from where they are in their job and they get promoted to a management or a leadership position, and all of a sudden they discover they're in meetings all the time, and maybe their job before didn't involve that at all. Maybe they were somebody who had a lot more flexibility. Maybe they were, out of the office a lot of the time and dealing with people more one-on-one and those kinds of things. And all of a sudden they find they're in these group meetings all the time or on conference calls, like on Zoom calls, and they hate it. It's because the logistical aspects of a job don't align with what they need to thrive as a person. And we've really been conditioned and programmed to do it the wrong way. And I'm on a mission to change that. We need to be looking at, like I said, there's many different aspects we need to look at. But for the most part, this isn't ever even considered. Like, it's not even on the program of things to discover when we're thinking about, say we're even in high school and university, thinking about our career. We don't even think about this. It's not even brought up as an important aspect. And then we get to this point 20, 30 years later, and we're reflecting on how unhappy we are. Well, it's because we haven't picked something, and it's not our fault. We've just got to start looking at changing it. And it's a big flip. I'm not gonna mince my words here. It is a big flip, but I'm just gonna offer that as an opportunity, just something to think about. If you're sitting in that position where you're not happy, what are the tasks? Or, I often see people pick companies they want to work for, and that's their main focus. I want a job at this company, right? This kind of industry that really excites me. And maybe it's even in the department they're looking to work in the area. But the tasks of the job itself, they hate. So what good is it to be in this great company, this great, group, if you hate the actual job itself, right? So I'm going to leave this video here. I really do hope this has, really just maybe opened some doors to some different perspectives that you hadn't been thinking of, or alternately validated some of the things you're feeling. Because sometimes I think we're scared to say things out loud. We're fearful of how people might respond. And so if I can do that for you today as well, that's amazing, to validate maybe some of the feelings that you are having about your current circumstance. And if you are somebody who is feeling really stuck in your career and you don't know what to do next to change your situation, please feel free to message me, or you can email me at andrea@andreahorvath.com, or go to my website, andreahorvath.com. You can book a free laser coaching session, which I'm offering right now, to help you move forward. There's often a piece that we get stuck on, right? That we just can't seem to move past, whether it's a limiting belief or something we're just not seeing. And so in these sessions, my goal really is, and my intention is, to help you move forward, to move towards more what it is that you really want for yourself. So please feel free to reach out, message me. I am happy to chat and have that conversation with you. And if you do like this video, please like, subscribe, share, or if you know somebody who's in this situation and you think this video might help them, please do share. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.